Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the last day of Bookmas 2024. I can't believe we're already there. Today is just gonna be like a sit down video. I have my hot chocolate here in my 12 days of Christmas mug. I'm sorry about the lighting. The sun is still trying to rise even though it's like 1:30 in the afternoon. I don't know, time's messed up here, but I am so thankful to everyone who supported me through Bookmas. To all my subscribers, thank you so much. This marks like the end of the first year for me being a booktuber, or trying to be a booktuber. I just like to thank you guys for all the support you've given me throughout the year. Your comments literally make my day when I'm tired and not motivated to film any videos or read any books. I scroll through the comments and read every single one of them, and it like makes me happy. So thank you to everyone who takes their time and comments. I love you all so much. If I do miss one comment, it's probably because I didn't see it. Life's hectic sometimes, and my life has been crazy the past few months. I'm gonna put this down because it's kind of hot, but I got my hot chocolate here. I don't know if you can see. I don't want to spill it. I can't believe the end of the year is fastly approaching. This video is gonna be like an end of the year book tag. I compiled some like questions or prompts for me to answer in this video. I didn't find a lot, but I have a lot to talk about. The first one is books or series that I wish I got to this year. There's a lot. I feel like with the amount of books that I have, I cannot simply read them in 1 year. Like, life happens. I was in university for most of this year, and then I was writing my exam, and then Bookmas came around. I just felt like I didn't have much time. But this December, after like these Bookmas videos, I will have like lots of free time just to read books and not film videos, because I feel like I need that break to just like sit and read and relax without having to worry about, oh, should I film this? Yeah, you know what I mean? But I think series that I'm not gonna get to this year, the first one is the Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I really wanted to get to that this year. I just finished, actually, like maybe last month, the Caraval trilogy, and also read the holiday novella. That was so good. Caraval trilogy, I gave it 5 stars. I'm actually so excited because in this book series we get more of Jax. We didn't get a lot of Jax. There were some in Legendary, the second book in the Caraval series, but not a lot overall, and I'm really excited to see like how that story is and unfolds, because I've heard it's like 10 times better than Caraval, and I've been hearing so much about it. The second series is the Throne of Glass series. I'm actually in the middle of reading that, but I'm at the tandem read, and then I'll have Kingdom of Ash left, but I don't think I can get to that this year just because I have some videos planned, and I want to read that when I'm actually ready, where I have time to sit down and like digest everything, because I've heard like, especially Kingdom of Ash, like it is crazy and emotionally damaging, so I want to be there to like relish, just enjoy every little thing about it. So I'm gonna take my time with that. I also don't want it to end because I love the series. And then the next one is Crescent City. I feel like you already know it's an urban modern fantasy, and I'm just really intrigued by that concept because I haven't read a fantasy in the modern world. It'll be fun to see like fantasy characters taking selfies and posting on Instagram. I feel like that's a really cool like concept, so I'm really excited to get to those books in the new year. The next one is the Serpent and the Wings of the Night series. I have the first 2 books and the novella in that series, and I really wanted to get to it this year just because I've heard so many people saying that it's like ACOTAR, and I loved ACOTAR. I know it's an overhyped book series, but I absolutely fell in love with it. If there's another book series like it, yes, please put me down. I will be reading it. And then the other ones, like other series that I wanted to get to, one was the Dance of Thieves series. I actually have both of the books right now, but I just like didn't have time to read them. Usually I like to read my fantasy when I'm like not in such a rush, like there's not a lot going on, like I can really sit down and enjoy it, because I feel like sometimes when there's like a deadline to read a certain book, it just doesn't feel like I fully immersed myself in that book and like really enjoyed the book for what it is and like what we're meant to feel. Like I feel like sometimes having a booktube, sometimes you're on a deadline, and I never want that to be for me. That's why sometimes I don't post. Like there's like weeks where I don't post just because I'm taking my time with the book. If I rush and skim the books, like what's the point of reading, right? So I really want to get to a lot more fantasy series in the next year. And then also like the other ones, like the Cruel Prince trilogy, the One Dark Window series, and the Divine Rivals. Those are the ones that I wish I got to, but I will certainly get to them in the new year because I have them already. And then books, like standalone books, I feel like I wished I read more like Christine Hanna's books and Frederick Bachman's books, because I feel like they've gone viral a lot and they're more literary fiction, and I've been wanting to kind of branch out and explore more genres. So definitely will be in my like 2025 reading goals or TBR. Let's see if this hot chocolate has cooled down a little bit. Oh, that's really good. The next one is the most disappointing read of the year. I feel like I have a lot of books that kind of disappointed me throughout this year, just because the first books I read by that author I absolutely loved, but then their new releases or their like next releases after those books that I read just like did not live up to the hype of the first one. And the first one is the novel Love Story by Ashley Poston. I actually like have it right there. I don't know, I feel like I had really high expectations for this book just because I absolutely adored The 7-Year Slip. Like it's one of my 6-star reads. But this one, I actually like vividly remember the storyline. So the storyline, once like Ashley Poston announced it, I was like, oh my god, okay, I'm absolutely gonna love this book. As a unique concept to it, like The 7-Year Slip, it has the magic realism in the contemporary romance, but it just like did not meet my expectations. So this book is about a character, a female main character. I actually forgot her name. Her name is Elsie. She loves books, she loves reading books, and she loves to get lost in a good happily ever after, like all of us. She was supposed to go on a trip with her friends, her book friends, to go to like a cabin where they spent a few days reading. All of a sudden things come up for all of her friends and they couldn't make it, so it was just her. During like the long road trip she was going there, she finds herself in the middle of a rainstorm, and then she stops at this town just to like wait out the rain, but then she realizes she's stuck in the world of her favorite novel. Oh my god, like please, can that happen to me? She knows everyone, she knows the town, she knows every little thing about the characters and like their love life and their love interests and everything, and then she stumbles upon this like bookshop owner named Anders, and she's like, where does he fit in the story? Like he's not in any of the storylines, and he is just this cold, grumpy guy. I did not like him at first. Like he was just like, you need to get out of here. Just basically tried to drive her away, and she doesn't want to, obviously. Like if I was her, I'd want to stay too. So she ends up staying. She wants to see the happily ever after of these characters, and throughout that she gets closer to Anders, and I felt like their romance was a little bit surface level, because one day he hates her with a passion, and then the next day a switch just flipped and he's like in love with her all of a sudden, like obsessed with her. Like I don't know where that came from, and I just didn't like it. I didn't connect to the characters, and I just didn't see the chemistry between them. It was just like not for me. Part of it is because I expected a lot from this book because of The 7-Year Slip, so it might just be on me. The next one is Meet Me by the Lake by Carly Fortune. Let me just hydrate myself before I give my rant about this book. This book follows our two main characters, Fern and Will. Essentially, they like meet on a random night in Toronto, and I just like to say I love that this book takes place in Canada. And if you didn't know, I'm in Canada, so I am a lover of her books except for this one. They end up spending the next 24 hours together, and mind you, they're both in relationships. Fern is in a long-term relationship with her like high school sweetheart back home or something, and then Will is in a relationship, which he mentioned. Fern doesn't mention that at first. The whole time they're hanging out, they're not hanging out like friends. There's like a lot of tension between them, and they end up spending the night together. Not like spending the night, like just sleeping, nothing else. They make a pact to like meet next year at Fern's mom's lakeside resort because she's moving back and she has to help her mom like run the resort and essentially take over someday, which she does not want to do. But then Will never shows up the time that they were supposed to meet, and 9 years later he shows up at her door telling her that he's there to help her run the resort because the resort is not doing well. So there was like a lot of time lost with them spending time with each other, which I get sometimes, like a second chance romance like that. You meet the right person at the wrong time and then you like foster something later on. Like I feel like that'd be a good storyline, but this one, there was just like no depth of the characters. Their love story was very bland and forced, and I feel like I didn't really connect to the characters. Like I don't understand why suddenly they're in love, head over heels again for each other, even though this much time has passed. Like, what happened in that 9 years? Like, you guys did not talk. And when they get to like working together and trying to like fix the resort and make it better, they just like are in love again. Like, they just start sleeping with each other. Like, there's just like no emotional connection first with the characters. Like, it starts off physical. I just didn't feel the chemistry between them. Like, I didn't feel connected to any of them. Like, I don't know, the plot was just not plotting. It was not what I expected, especially after Every Summer After. Every Summer After had everything. It was childhood friends to lovers. Like, it had history. It had like the heartbreak and why they broke up and like how they got back again together. Like, the next 2 books that disappointed me or just like was a big letdown this year, I'm pretty sure you've seen it. It went viral this fall. Like, everyone was reading these books, and that is these 2 books. First, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Cinnamon Buns bookstore. We'll talk about this one first. It did give the fall vibes. It did give the fall vibes. Like, it gave me everything that I wanted at that moment when I was like wearing my big fluffy sweater, my Uggs, my sweatpants, I'm reading outside, the leaves are falling, and like I have a hot chocolate in hand. Like, this definitely like gave me those vibes, but the love story in here was just so like insta-lovey and fast-paced. I just feel like the characters didn't really have much depth to them, and like I didn't get to know the characters myself first as a reader. Like, I think we got to know like the basis of the characters, a little bit of their history, but once they met, like, they were instantly in love with each other, and then 8 pages later they had their first kiss, and it was just spicy from there. And this one, it got a little bit better. It got a little bit better because I got to know the characters a little bit more, because they were also mentioned in this book. This one follows Hazel. She works at a bookstore, and Noah, who is like a fisherman. And this one follows Jeannie and Logan. They're all friends. But the thing I didn't like about this was that it was still insta-lovey. And this was so much more spicier than this. This one just like went from 0 to 100 so quick. And you know how you see like fall trees there? It was giving fall vibes. No, this book does not take place during the fall. It takes place during the summer. So that's why I was confused. I was like, there is a tree with leaves falling out of it. So it's just giving like fall vibes when I picked it up. The next book that kind of let me down this year, I was actually super excited to read it because I heard so much about it online and how like people were like talking about it, like how intriguing it was, how interesting it was, and it just like kept them at the edge of their seat and stuff like that. That is The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. This was my first book by Riley Sager, and I was like, okay, new author, yay, like I'm branching out. But this book, I was like, what is happening right now? What is happening right now? You have to read this book to actually understand what I'm talking about. If you don't already know, it's about Casey. Casey Fletcher is a widow, recent widow. Something bad happened in her career and she was surrounded by bad press, so she decided to like take a break from life and go stay at her family's like cabin or lake house. And then she sees this couple living across the lake and they have big windows and everything, so she takes out her binoculars and starts watching them. I know, creepy. It turns out they are like well-known like celebrities. Their name is Tom and Catherine Royce. One day she sees Catherine, the wife, drowning in the lake, so she saves her and they start becoming friends, like good friends. They start having coffee together, having chit chats and all that. Then one day Catherine disappears and Casey thinks the husband Tom had something to do with it. Like there's foul play, something happened to her, like he did something bad because she heard a scream. That's all it says in the book. That's all I'm gonna tell you. But once the plot twist hit, I was like, what is going on? Like, am I still in the same book? Like, it felt like what was happening was just like not supposed to be in this book. The story just like made a quick 180. It feels like I'm reading like another book. It was crazy. You have to read this book for you to understand what I'm saying. The last book that kind of let me down this year, I actually read recently. I read it in my last 24-hour readathon challenge of 2024. I'll link it somewhere up here if you haven't seen it. But that is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. And I'm telling you, this breaks my heart, including this book in this category, because I absolutely love the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. I love the first 2 books. I gave them both a 6-star read because they were just phenomenal, amazing. But this one, I can't believe the series ended like that. I thought Holly Jackson was gonna do something crazy to end this series, this amazing series. But, no. I felt like our main character, Pip, she did something so out of character in this book that I was like, are we talking about the same Pip here? Like, is this still the same main character? Because I do not see her doing this. I don't know. Is she tweaking in this book? I don't know. Is she on some stuff? I don't know. It was still good though, but it's not amazing, life-changing like the last 2 books. I mean, it was smart, it was like thought out perfectly, but I just don't think it fit our main character. The next one is a book that surprised you. The book that surprised me that I actually liked is the 3rd book in the Dream Harbor series, The Christmas Tree Farm. I talked about how I didn't like the first 2 books because it was just like not great, but this one was actually so good. I read this in my Christmas reading vlog. Again, it's a small town romance. It's spicy. It's a reverse Grumpy Sunshine. So we have our main character Kira. She hates Christmas, but she buys a Christmas tree farm and does not know how to run it, does not know how to fix anything on it. She's trying to prove to her family that she could do something on her own and not need their help, because she grew up in a very rich family where she could do whatever she wanted and she would never get in trouble, or she would never have to think about the consequences because her family always was there backing her up. And then the male main character in this book is Bennett Ellis, which is the brother of the female main character in the first book, The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And he's taking a vacation and spending the holiday season in Dream Harbor, this small town. He's from California, so he's trying to get away from that like city scene, and he stumbles upon Kira. One thing about Bennett is that he has a problem of like pleasing people and like helping people and fixing everything. So like they're a match because Kira is such a mess. She doesn't know how to fix anything in her house. The heater's not working, blah blah blah. So Bennett ends up helping her and all that. All these books have like a side mystery, and in this book there's like a little bit of a murder mystery going on because the people in the town, the Dream Harbor town, think that there is like a dead body hidden somewhere because the last owners of this farm were kind of creepy. Like they abandoned the house and everything, and they thought that the husband killed the wife and buried her somewhere in the property. That was an intriguing plot on the side. But the thing I really liked about this is that you got to know both the characters first. Like you got to know their past and their history, and you got the little things that the other books lack. You got the playful banter, you got them spending time with each other, just doing regular things, and you know, not jumping to the spice scene and all those small things that we love about romance books. We got that in here, which I appreciated because the first 2 books, like I said, were like insta-lovey and everything. There wasn't like an instant attraction in this book, but they didn't act upon it. Like I think it was like halfway through the book where the spice started, and I just felt more connected to them. I just felt like I knew them at that point, and I felt like the characters emotionally like connected first and then the physical part, which I like about romance books. Sometimes I don't like the insta-lovey that much. The next one is a new favorite author this year. I feel like I found so many new favorite authors this year that may not be like new for you guys, just because like I said, I got into like Book Talk, Bookstagram, and BookTube recently this year, so I'll just list them off. They're very well known. The first one is Sarah J. Maas, Rebecca Yarros. Abby Jimenez has been slaying it. Why did I just say slay? I said I wouldn't say that word anymore. She's been delivering. Like her new book, this one, Just for the Summer, 6-star read. I loved it. Ashley Poston, Stephanie Garber, and Christina Lauren, I think, has been like my favorite authors this year. The next one, author that didn't work out for you this year, I have 2. I only have 2, and that is Riley Sager and Lisa Joel. So these 2 authors, I think, write primarily like thriller books, and I read 2 of their books. Lisa Joel, I read None of This Is True and Then She Was Gone, and those were just like didn't go the way I thought they would go, and I didn't really like them. Riley Sager, I read 2 books by him as well, and it was The House Across the Lake and The Only One Left, and I feel like they were just like not what I was expecting them to be. These authors, like I felt like I gave them a second chance by reading a second book, but I know like 2 books does not show how they are as an author. Like maybe these are just books that I didn't like myself. I might like other books by them. So in 2025 I will give them a 3rd chance and read another book by them. Maybe I just like read books that weren't as popular by them, or maybe I just didn't like this book. I might like their other books, so I'm definitely gonna give them like a 3rd chance in 2025. But those are just like the 2 authors that didn't really work out for me this year. For 2024 I set my Goodreads goal to read 100 books. Right now I haven't met that. It's still the beginning of December while I'm filming this because I'm pre-filming all these Bookmas videos, but I will definitely meet the 100 book challenge that I set for myself. I think 100 books was like a good goal for me this year, but also with how busy my life was, like I said, most of this year I was still still in school, and then after that I was studying for this big exam that I had to take, and then afterwards there was just like a lot of moving. I was moving back home, and there's just a lot of moving pieces in my life still, and still now. I think next year in 2025 I might keep it the same, or maybe like raise it to 110, just because in January I'm starting my new job, my first big girl job. I am starting my first nursing job. I don't know where yet. Like, I'm still in the middle of like processing everything and like trying to get my license and all that, but I think I'm gonna set it to like either 100 or 110. I think having this goal, like having Goodreads and stuff, it was a good way to track my reading and also like stay on top of my reading, because there are months where I read literally 2 books and I don't know what happened. But then I see my Goodreads and it's like, oh, you're 6 books behind, and then I get into these like reading sprints and I'm like reading like 2 or 3 books per week for like a few weeks, and then I'll fall off after that. It helped me like motivate me to start reading, and I also started like getting lots of friend requests from you guys, and I'm seeing your guys' challenge and like what books are you reading, and it's just like interesting to keep up with people in that way and like to see like what people think of books that I have read or should read. If you haven't added me, you should add me. Like, I accept everyone. I got this much in the past like couple days, so I'm just gonna all accept them, and I just add all of you guys because I like seeing what you guys are reading too. And the final like prompt or question in this video, I don't want to make it too long, is what will you prioritize in your 2025 reading year? Like, I think I said it before, but I think I'm gonna prioritize like branching out and trying different genres, going outside of my comfort zone in reading and trying new authors and genres, like exploring more books essentially. Want to like read books that will make me smarter a little bit and like increase my vocabulary. But yeah, I'm gonna stop yapping. I think you got the point that I was trying to bring across. I just want to try new things and learn new things while reading books. If you made it this far into the video, comment the tea emoji. Thank you so much for staying this long into the video. I just want to thank you guys again for supporting me throughout Bookmas. I'm so excited because I'm 8 away from 3,000 subscribers. If I reach 3,000 subscribers before the end of Bookmas, that is the best way to end the year, because I did not expect myself to be where I am now. In January I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be this small booktuber that no one knows about. I mean, I still am, but like, I didn't think I'd be at this point, and I'm so thankful. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad that there's people who enjoy my videos. Thank you again for all your comments. I literally love you guys so much. And if there's new things you want to see from me in the new year, new like videos that you want to see, please comment them down below. I will try my best to make it all come true and make it into a video, and I just want to make you guys happy while making myself happy, because I love doing this. And thank you again for supporting me and being here with me and watching my videos throughout the year that I've become a booktuber. It's so weird calling myself a booktuber. I feel like I'm just a random person on the internet, but thank you again, and I hope you enjoy my Bookmas this year. I worked really hard on them, and I enjoy doing them and filming them and editing them and showing you guys what I've been up to. I hope you guys have a happy holidays with your family and friends, and I'll see you again in another video.